Welcome to the week 3 craft bag tutorial for the teens at the Stevens County Library. Today I'm going to show you how to use the contents of teen bag number 3. Now, teen bag number 3 does come with a gluten warning, so if you do have an allergy, please know that there is wheat flour and salt in this bag. So let's see what is in our bag. Of course, we have the instructions. We have a color change Stevens County Library pencil. We have a drinking straw, a piece of a pool noodle, a couple of craft sticks of different sizes. We have 3 balloons. We have a roll of duct tape. Trust me, this is duct tape. And we have a closed bag of salt and flour. So the first item in our bag is a pom-pom shooter made out of a pool noodle with duct tape and a balloon. And if you pull back on the balloon and let it go, you should, if things are all situated correctly in there. Ah, there we go. Should be able to shoot pom-poms out of it. Now, I forgot to put pom-poms in this bag, but trust me, there will be pom-poms in your bag. Oh, there we go. So just don't put the big ones in there. If you have big pom-poms, don't put them in there because they like to get stuck. So, in order to make our pom-pom shooter, you take one of your balloons and you're going to tie the end that you would tie if you blew up the balloon. Whoops. So you tie that end off. Then you're going to take a pair of scissors and snip off the other end of the balloon. Now careful, don't get your fingers here. So you're going to just snip that off. So you have a hollow balloon. You take your hollow balloon, you stretch it around your pool noodle and get it on there kind of evenly. Then you take your length of duct tape, which if you ever need to know, this is parchment paper. Duct tape does not like to stick to parchment paper, so that's fantastic news. Then you're going to put your duct tape around the balloon and on your pool noodle. And that's it. You have made a pom-pom shooter. You take your pom-poms. Let me see if I can get them out of this one without shooting them all over the place. You take all your different size pom-poms. You can load as many in there as you want. And when you pull, your pom-poms will shoot out. So if you pull with a lot of force, they'll go farther, but I don't want to lose them right now. Oop, they're bouncing all over the place. So that's how you make a pom-pom shooter. If you invent a game with your pom-pom shooter, please let me know what it is. I'm excited to hear about it. The second craft in your bag is salt dough. Now, salt dough, the basic recipe for this salt dough is 1/4 of a cup of flour and 1/8 of a cup of salt. So if you're doing math there, that is 1 part salt to 2 parts flour. So if you're doing tablespoons, you would need 2 tablespoons of flour to 1 tablespoon of salt. So that's what's in this small batch salt dough. But right now, it's not dough. So you will need a tablespoon. Now that's the big one on your measuring spoons. And you will need water. I'm just using tap water here. And I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of tap water and add that to my bag. And then I will seal the bag back up. And what I did the other night was I just shook the bag for a little while until the water kind of soaked up all of the flour and wet parts. And then once you have shaken it up, let me let some air out of that bag a little bit. You keep squishing it together and it will start to form a dough, just like if you're making cookies. Now, if you notice that it's not sticking together, and I notice mine has a little bit of dry parts in it, I'm going to add a little bit more water. This is just a couple drops. And then I'll see if that helps it stick together any. You don't want it too wet. If it's too wet, it's going to stick to the bag and you won't be able to get it out of there. And it also will take extra long to dry. This salt dough dries hard, so you can make ornaments out of it or figurines or any kind of shapes that you would like to use around your house. I still think mine needs a little bit more water. When I made it at home, I found that I needed more flour because the 2 tablespoons of water was plenty, but I think some of the air conditions today may have something to do with it. And the water here at the library may be different than my water at home. So I have, it's forming a ball now when I squeeze it. So I'm going to take a piece of waxed paper, and you can get this one at Dollar General. It's just waxed paper. And we're going to open up our bag. Now you could just dump this onto your wax paper. I'm going to kind of gently take mine out because I would like to knead it by hand a little bit more because it does seem to be still a little dry. See, mine's still shedding parts. So I'm going to add just a bit more water to mine. And I'm actually going to put it back in the bag and smush it a little bit more. All right, that's what I like to see. Okay, now, of course, I do have some parts that are a little wetter than others. So we're gonna work it just like we would a cookie dough and get it nice and integrated. And then you have essentially a Play-Doh that will get hard, and it will be forever hard once it dries. It does take several days to dry completely if you air dry it, or you can put it in the oven at 225 degrees for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. But if you do put it in the oven, please keep an eye on it. Do not let it burn because it will get crispy around the edges. If it starts to get too brown around the edges, I would take it out of the oven and let it air dry the rest of the way. So you can use your pencil, your craft sticks, or your straw to help you build little ornaments. You could even make some charms for necklaces. If you do make charms, I would recommend that you seal them with something because they will not be waterproof. It will still continue to soak up water and it will fall apart unless you seal it. Obviously, I still would not submerge it in water. But if you make a shape, and I recommend thinner shapes. You don't want to be able to see the table through your shape, but make it thinner. It will dry in a lot less time. The one that I have on my counter at home has been drying since Saturday, and it is still very, very wet. So I chose not to put that one in the oven. But if I ever have a final product on that, I will show you. So if I wanted to make this a pendant, I would take my straw and poke a hole in it for a string. And then you can use your craft sticks to push a design into your pendant. If you do want to air dry your salt dough, I would recommend setting it in like a sunny window or setting it outside, someplace that it's protected from the rain. And make sure you bring it inside every once in a while so it doesn't just get waterlogged or get eaten by bugs. But you can certainly cook it in the oven as well, but please use your parents' permission if you're going to use the oven. All right, that's how you do the salt door ornament. I hope that you share your final creations with us by tagging us at Stevens County Library on Facebook or Instagram. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.